This live stream is sponsored by Land of Land. As preppers, we're always looking for that bug out location, but let's face it, land is getting harder and harder to find. What most don't know is that vacant land is everywhere. The nice thing about vacant land is that there's no leaky roofs, no clogged drains, and nothing to repair. In fact, vacant land can be developed with your dream home in mind, or it could be used as a vacation spot, a remote ranch, or just a campsite. In some cases, you can actually buy land in one day with a credit card. Now, many of us are looking for a bug out location or just a secure spot where the family can gather during a crisis event. I want people to start thinking about land the same way that the preparedness community thinks about precious metals. And that's why I like this company so much, Land of Land. Now do yourself a favor. I want you to go to landofland.com and get the process started to owning your own land.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Taking a few seconds to get things set up here. And what I can never remember which one of these it is. It's always one or the other. If someone give me a sound check, that would be super duper. Let's go ahead and get that main template up. And I don't understand what's happening here. Why is this? There we go. That's better, I guess. That's going to be something. It's going to be something. No, that's not right. Something. My cameras are all messed up today, guys. The cats had a fight in here yesterday while I was not available and knocked everything from the screen, the cameras, the microphones, you name it. They knocked everything down. I don't even understand like what's happening here because it's like my cameras are all. This is ridiculous. Let's take that one out and let's try to put another one in. Stop extra camera. There we go. Extra camera. And let's see. No, we don't want that. We want that camera right there and share that one. We're going to pop that one in right there. There. The camera's, it's not coming on. It's not working. I don't understand what's happening. Let's see here. Stop that camera. Something is definitely wrong here. We're going to try one more time. And we're going to try and add the HD camera and share. And it's the same camera. I don't understand what's happening. It's like it says they're not even on. Okay, so we're just going to go with the one camera that I can find. The whole thing is so messed up. Anyway, let's see here. Go ahead and click on this. Boom, there we go. Just like the old days, but with one camera. Okay, I guess I'll just have to fix that later on. All right, so if we let's currently the score is 22-19. Rumble is in the lead on the YouTube poll. The question is, what is your top priority when preparing for an EMP? I need to scoot up. I really need to fix this whole situation here. I'm not happy with any of this. Let's see here. 54% say alternative energy sources. And then oddly enough, it's 15% for the next three answers: food and water storage, medical supplies and first aid, home and neighborhood security. Total of 13 votes. I'm sure that will actually change. Going on to the Rumble, Deanna was first. Annie Pearson was number 2. Hicktown Honey, you are the third. West Virginia Pappy, as usual, is omnipresent. And Christy Key, thank you very much. Annie Pearson, operator air. I know. Honestly, I don't know how this is working because a light comes on that camera and that camera when they're on. Right now, it says the cameras are working, but oh, I see what camera it's using. It's using my laptop camera. Boy, if that isn't scary. Oh, boy. Well, it's too late now. I guess I'll have to fix this one other day. This is my laptop camera. Yay, laptop camera. Anyway, all right, let me go on over to the YouTube side there and let's find out who's the winner today. Rose. Rose first, Bradley Collins number 2. And where we got Bradley's even got something going on in there. Where we at here? Oops is deterred. And then we've got, who else we got here? We got Colin, Light Raider, Catitude. Let's see. Cuck V is in the house. Looks like we got some 5x5s and some 50s by 50s. Ian's in the house. All right. And let's see here. Okay. Now I can like look at some of the comments. Rose, you in Indianapolis Crossroads, America Crossroads. Boom. Okay, good. Let's see here. Effingham, dang, autocorrect. That's hilarious. All right, let's see here. Gonna scan. We're scanning. I'm scanning for something big to read. Cuck V says, watching from the People's Republic of Michigan. Where are we at here? Indy. Catitude says he's weaning off the pain meds. She's talking about John, her husband. Catitude is the one we're trying to raise money for, but no one wants to give money to. I think we're up to $700 right now. This is just crazy, man. It's just crazy at this point. Anyway, so she's saying he's weaning off pain meds and looking all right. He was hoping to be at work this week, but not happening. He might scare the children with his scalp. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. It's very true. And then it looks like Cool Colt showed up. At Cool Colt, you were like first, man. You were like the very first one, but for some reason it's not showing you as first. Okay, there we go. Oops, there we go. All right. Looks like we are all caught up. The poll is still about the same. Home and neighborhood security has gone up to 20%, dropping alternative energy sources to 53%. But obviously, that will change as the day goes. Good morning, Star. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and get into it. Because this is actually kind of a very detailed subject. Wish I could move this microphone, man. My whole setup is messed up. Everything is like out of place. I feel like the very first time I let one of my kids drive my car, all the settings are completely broken. Okay, so I've got this broken into 2 sections because this came up yesterday as a question from within the Patreon or oh, that was early. Oh my God, got a drink. Inside, I believe it was inside of the members only area. By the way, if you guys are not a member, you might want to check out the YouTube side. If you're a Patreon, if you're not transferred over yet, I recommend that you do so. I am keeping a very close eye on the people who have long-term. You can no longer get 1 year's members service on the Patreon, and at some point, if you want to continue your service, you will have to transfer over. It's kind of like AT&T bought Sprint or something like that. It's just going to happen. So please take a minute. Do not pick the middle one, is what I'm telling people, unless you want to be a super duper giver to the channel, and then you'll pick level 3. Okay, so with that said, this subject came up about yesterday about the survival rate. Someone had a question about it. I think it was Miss Melody, and I had to do some deep diving. There are probably 4, maybe 5 main documents on the internet that talk about survivability during an EMP, and it's a subject that a lot of people don't really want to talk about because the survival rate is not high. It's not high. They're talking about after 1 year, unless we can bring the systems back online that would normally keep us stupid humans alive. After about 1 year, we would actually dwindle down to about 10% of the remaining population. That is not high. And if you think about 1 year, well, when there's no power, 1 year is a long time. That's a lot of Nintendo not getting played. That's a lot of jobs that require power to not be taking place, lots of different things. Good morning, Laser. Good to see you. I'm going to hit this real quick here because Bradley is a member. Uh, do the polls end at the end of the live? If they are for week, maybe on the weekly poll, you could give the rundown on the polls for the week. Just a suggestion. No, Bradley, these polls in YouTube only run for the time period of the actual live stream. I mean, I could probably, you know what? Maybe I'll leave this on. Maybe we'll do an experiment. Maybe we'll do an experiment because it was Marshmallow that asked the question. I got you. But you know, maybe we will, Bradley. Maybe we will. I do listen to my members, so maybe we'll. You know what? We're going to leave this on and see what happens. We'll come back in a week and see. We'll kind of like make mental note about how many people are actually voting right now, and then we'll see what happens over time. Because I honestly don't know. Normally it's I turn it off. So I'll leave it on. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? We blow up YouTube Central. All right. So man, this yawn is like right here. It won't. There it is. Oh, get out of my body. Oh, okay. So looking at death rate versus survival rate, the numbers are significantly different because they tell a different story. So a lot of people have the death and survival rates mixed up. So we're going to cover some of that, and then we're going to talk about probably what I believe is the number one way to prepare for an EMP. If you had to pick only one thing that you could do, we're going to talk about that, and that's going to be my opinion, and obviously you'll have your own. All right, so estimating the death rate of the U.S. population after an EMP or electromagnetic pulse event is challenging and highly speculative because nobody really knows, as it depends on numerous factors such as scale of the EMP, the preparedness of the population, the effectiveness of emergency responses, and the ability to restore critical infrastructure. However, we can use a theoretical scenario to illustrate a possible progression of the death rate over 1 year. With that said, first thing there has to be some certain assumptions for this to be a valid theory. The first assumption is that a high altitude EMP causes widespread disruption to electrical grids and electronic devices. 2, immediate and long-term disruptions to transportation, communications, medical services, and food and water supply chains. And then 3rd, a slow recovery process to the extent of damage and the lack of preparedness. Now, in estimating this death toll, month number 1, the death rate, 10%. So 10% of the United States would die. If there was an EMP that was large enough to do the entire country, which is very possible. There are weapons that do this. It would be within the first month, 10% of the population would die. These would be considered immediate fatalities due to accidents, lack of medical services, and immediate shortages. Month number 2, the death rate would go between 10 and 15%, and cumulative, basically adding on to the last month, of 20 to 25% of the United States population would cease to exist. We would be looking at increased fatalities from dehydration, lack of medical care, and food shortages. Month number 3, the death rate would rise another 10 to 15%. Its cumulative would be 30 to 40%. Continued challenges with food and water supply, outbreak of disease, because we've moved past that whole sanitation issue that would come with our inability to clean ourselves, or should I say just create a clean environment. So now it gets a little crazy. Between months 4 and 6, the death rate would increase another 10% per month, for a cumulative of 50 to 60% of the population being deceased. Long-term shortages of essential supplies, increased vulnerability to environmental factors. When we say increased vulnerability to environmental factors, basically, shelter. People would become homeless, which is kind of hard to believe But what it actually would come down to is people would lose the ability to control their environment more than anything else. Months 7 through 9, the death rate would increase another 10% to for a cumulative 70 to 80%, be due to a persistent lack of medical care, deteriorating living conditions, and social unrest. And then months 10 to 12, the death rate would be 10% per month, cumulative 90 to almost 100%, due to ongoing struggles with disease, malnutrition, and exposure to elements. So in summary, after 1 year, an estimated 90 to possibly 100% death rate. The rates are pretty crazy. You know, if we do this, the simple and fast breakdown, and as usual, guys, as I am talking, you guys are typing, and then we talk about what you type. The monthly breakdown is simple. Month number one, 10%. Month number 2, we're up to 25%. Month number 3, we're 30 to 40%. Month number 4, we're at 50 to 60%. Month number 5, we are at 70 to 80%. And month number 6, it's not month number 6. It's the number. So months 4 through 6, 10%, we're at 50 to 60%. Months 7 to 9, we're at 70 to 80%. And months 10 to 12, we're up another 10%, putting us around 90 to 100%. So, you know, the worst case scenario illustrates a catastrophic situation where the death rate continues to rise each month due to the compounding effects of infrastructure collapse, lack of medical care, food and water shortages, and societal breakdown. And so it's important to note that this scenario is highly speculative and intended to provide a broad understanding rather than a precise prediction. Now, actual outcomes will depend heavily on various factors, including the extent of the EMP, the level of preparedness, and the effectiveness of response measures. Now, I think for us, the biggest thing is out of those three things, remember, it's the key factors are extent of the EMP, the level of preparedness, and the effectiveness of response measures. There's only one thing that you can control out of those three things, and that's what you should be focusing on, your level of preparedness. Let's see here. And that's what we're going to talk about here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat. I'm sorry, not check the chat, but the poll. Currently, we are at 56% for alternative energy sources. And I've got to say, guys, I'm a little disappointed. And I'll tell you why. In the end, because, you know, it's this, you know, guys, you know, I don't judge anybody, but if anything, I try to guide people to the right answer, not my answer, to the right answer. Okay. So we're going to talk about some of this stuff here. I'm looking at, it's like Colin showed up. Let's see how we elevated at all. Makes you wonder how we evolved at all. Yes. The monkeys with the bone in the obelisk. How did we get here, guys? That's the big question. All right. Bradley Collinson, I was trying to do the math, and if it's 10% per month, the actual amount at 90% still isn't true. 90% of 333 million is much bigger than 90% of 1 million. I'm not sure where you're getting that math from, Bradley. I never said how many people, I said percentages. But I mean, it's like I said, it's highly speculative, you know, and you have to go off of what the professionals are saying. And all of my research comes from Congress and the actual EMP studies that were done. I think in 2004, there's been several. There was a 2013. I mean, I posted them all in the members only chat. So you guys should have had the opportunity to read these. But I mean, probably not. And the reason is because you work for a living, and I'm just some dumb old retired Marine who has time to read this crap and give you the information. But you know, and then there was actually in one of the National Defense Reviews, there was a hearing between infrastructure and policy, and they talked directly about this. And if we didn't do anything about it on the preparedness side, that it could literally just take us out. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. What do we got here? Yeah, I'll send a pic in Discord of the math. Gotcha. That's cool. Off-Road Armada. Good morning. Good to see you, bro. Where are we at here? We got the Real Patriot Medic checking in. Everybody looks like everybody's kind of dropping in and saying hi. Current scores 35-29. Sorry about the noise, guys. As you know, yesterday I was a little under the weather. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead, and we're up to 18 votes now, 56% still believe that alternative energy sources would be their top priority. Okay, let's see here. So that brings us to surviving an EMP, okay? And there are basically 10 steps that I've identified that you should be focused on, okay? Just focus on them. All right, so immediate actions, all right? First, establish a communications plan. You know, you need to have prearranged meeting points, communication plans with friends and family. We've talked about this 1,000 times. Have a plan. The lights go out, what do we do? What's the family do? If the lights go out, what do we do? Okay? Not key our radio. What do we do? We have actually something written down. There's actually a plan, okay? So the next thing is use EMP resistant communication devices like ham radios with Faraday bags. So that could be the thing, okay? Let's see here. Emergency supplies is number 2. Store at least 1 year's worth of non-perishable foods and clean water, because that's what we talked about. 1 year. If you're serious about EMPs and you don't believe that the infrastructure will stand up quick enough, then you probably need to have at least a year's worth of food so that you can die with the last 10%. But that's kind of a sarcastic way to look at it, because in that period of time, you know, so there are some factors that aren't thought about, like winter, and then also the ability to grow our own food and livestock. So there are some things there. But store at least 1 year's worth of non-perishable food and clean water. I showed you yesterday, in yesterday's video, about how to obtain a 30-day supply and for one person. And then also stock up on essential supplies like medications, first aid kits, and hygiene products. I think hygiene products would be pretty high on that list as well. You know, the medications with the Jace case, first aid kits, building your own real first aid kit. And remember, it needs to last a year. Okay, so at the minimum, a year of boo-boos at a minimum. Okay. Let's see, Hardway, Alaska. Good to see you. And then you need to start talking about infrastructure and shelter. Now, secure shelter is kind of important, and we're going to go even more in detail about that. But you know, you want to ensure your home is prepared for long-term power outages. This includes insulating against weather extremes and securing windows and doors. And then power generation. You know, you might want to invest in alternative energy sources such as solar panels, wind turbines, and manual generators. And then you want to be able to protect these devices from the EMP damage by storing them in Faraday bags. They do actually make Faraday bags large enough for all of these items, as well as Faraday cloth, which you could actually make yourself. Well, I mean, not cloth. You could make the bag out of the Faraday cloth. Water supply. Secure a suitable water source. This could be a well with a manual pump, a rainwater collection system, or natural water bodies. Ensure you have water purification methods such as filters and purification tablets. And then we're moving on to health and safety. Medical preparedness. Learn basic first aid and medical skills. Stock up on essential medical supplies and medications. Establish a network with local healthcare providers who might be able to assist in case of emergencies. Do you know a doctor that lives near you? That's the real question, guys. That's the real question right there. All right, let's see here. Sanitation. Prepare for waste disposal without conventional plumbing. This could include composting toilets or other sanitation systems. Almost nobody thinks about this. Almost no one thinks about this. But this is something that would be part of our daily lives. No longer would we be flushing just to be flushing. Ensure you have a method to dispose of trash and prevent disease. It's one of the biggest problems that are in a lot of countries. You'll actually see trash that is dumped out on the street. They know the street cleaners are going to come once a week, and sometimes only once a month. So they literally just dump their trash out into the street. To this day, there are drains in the back streets of tiny towns in Okinawa, Japan, that are specifically designed to dump urine and feces into, to be drained away with the rain. The place stinks, but at least there's nothing in your house. All right, so next we're going to be getting into skills and community. Self-sufficiency skills. Learn essential survival skills such as gardening, hunting, fishing, and food preservation. I gotta can some more chicken. I'm on my last, from almost a year and a half ago. I'm on my last can of chicken. It's my last jar that I canned of chicken. All right, develop skills for repairing and maintaining your equipment and shelter. You should actually know how to fix or work on or maintain your gear. Let's see here. Number 9, community building. Build a network with neighbors and local community members. This can provide mutual support, shared resources, and increased security. Engage in bartering system to exchange goods and services. In my mind's eye, no one is actually ever going to do this. This will come after. This will come after somebody is going to stand up and say, guys, let's all meet here. Let's talk about this. Let's figure out a plan. I don't foresee that. I mean, this is something for, like, if you actually have like a prepper community someplace, but here, like in the small town that I live in, this would happen afterwards. And then you would quickly find all of your outliers, because they're always going to have some opposing opinion that is emotionally based instead of factually based, or it doesn't fit their personal needs, and they don't understand that there's a huge difference in the meaning of the word community when the water's flowing and electricity is on and everybody's going singing kumbaya and taking picnics. And then when the lights go out, community means something 100% completely different. Oh, let's see here. Number 10, security, protection. Prepare to defend your home and supplies. This could include securing your property and having self-defense tools. Develop a security plan to develop with potential threats from looters or disruptive individuals. And we're going to talk more about security, and there's a reason why. The last thing is psychological resilience in this section. Before I start reading the comments, this is the last thing. Psychological resilience, mental health. Maintain mental and emotional health through stress management techniques like meditation, journaling, and physical exercise. Somebody talked about this the other day, left me a comment, and I even told them, I used to do, you never talk about physical fitness, LP. Well, you missed it out. You missed out when I used to do 3 days a week watching me exercise. All right, let's see here. So I guess the key thing is to stay connected with loved ones and community members to prevent isolation. We talk about mental fitness. By taking these steps, individuals can improve their chances of surviving and thriving in the aftermath of an EMP event. Building resilience, securing resources, and fostering community connections are crucial to enduring the long-term challenges posed by such a scenario. Guys, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat here real quick. Looks like we have lots of people checking in on the Rumble side. We've got 34 people in Rumble and only 26 on the YouTube, but like no comments. So yeah, that's happening. All right, so checking over on the YouTube side, we've got, let's see here. Colin says they got trash in their waterways. Crazy. Yep, exactly. there's a river in Olongapo, Philippines called expletive poopy river. That's the real name of it. And if there were many Marines that fell into that thing and almost didn't live, but literally they would just give you every shot they could think of if you went into that thing. Let's see here. Let's see. Oops says, I'm watching Crypto Trekker YouTube of Philippines. Unbelievable conditions. Correct. Ian says, I've come across a person on Instagram modding and selling Connex boxes as Faraday cages. That's interesting. That's interesting. Colin says, excuse the language. I think I got you, bro, man. I think you're okay. The word crazy still means the word crazy in Webster's dictionary. And I think you nailed it. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Okay, so we're going to check the poll real quick. We're up at 19 votes. Still 53% think that alternative energy sources is the number is your top priority when preparing for an EMP. Let's see here. Colin says, a big-ass lightning bolt just hit directly in the cornfield 150 yards to my north. Whoa. Yeah, it is loud, and it's very percussive. So probably every car alarm in the neighborhood went off. All right, let's see here. I jumped out of my seat. Well, yeah, I mean, it's only a lightning bolt hits 150 yards from where you are. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. West Virginia Pappy says food and water, no matter the scenario. Bingo, bingo. But after that is the next thing we're going to talk about, guys. I tell you what, guys, when we talk about surviving an EMP, okay, the human essentials, water, food, shelter, and you always hear me talking about water, food, security. And there's a reason for that, because those three pillars fit every single survival scenario there is, every single one of them. The reason is pretty simple. You've got to be able to protect your stuff. You've got to be able to protect your family. So ensuring security for your home and neighborhood after an EMP event is crucial to protect against potential threats, maintain order, and sustain community resilience. So I got basically 10 things to think about when we talk about home security that you probably wouldn't be thinking about right now, but you may want to think about in the future, because like I said, this is not a perfect list, but it is something that you need to think about. David Edwards says a plethora of hand tools would be important too. Yes, correct. Alaska says, I can live without electricity. People lived without it for 1,000 years. Exactly. Let's see. David Edwards says, thrive on no electricity. Yes, exactly. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go to the poll before I roll into security. 50% are alternative energy sources. 20% are food and water. 10% are medical supplies and first aid. And 20% are home and neighborhood security. Now, let's go ahead and roll into this. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I've got to pay some bills, guy. I've got to pay some bills. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to fix something. There we go. The Grail, the Holy Grail in water filtration, guys. Grail.com. Guys, if you do not have your water filtration, actually, it's a water purifier. Taken care of, you guys might want to think about it. It's a little pricey up front, but the filters are only like $24.95 a piece. So you literally would be paying less than if you bought a Life Straw every time you went camping. Yeah. Or I won't say camping, I'll say backpacking, because backpackers love their Life Straws. But yeah, I am 100% sold on the Grail. I plan on doing a video here in the next week or two about upgrades to my Get Home bag, and the Grail is part of that. Also, I am an affiliate for Grail, but I honestly don't remember the code. So do me a favor, go to the sponsored links I'll update that when I get a chance. But if you go to the Prep Stock sponsors and then you find Grail, click on that, check out their products. Well worth the money. Well worth the money. You know, it's like, I hate to say this, but this goes back to water, food, and security. You know, why would you want, like, why would those things be El Cheapos? You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So go ahead and check those things out. And let's see here. We're going to click on that. And the first thing we're going to talk about is physical barriers. Fencing. Install sturdy fences around your property to create a clear boundary and deter intruders. Now, will this work in, like, oh my God, we're 3 months in? There's no telling. There's really no telling. Reinforced doors and windows. Use reinforced doors and windows with locks to prevent easy access. Consider adding security bars or shutters for added protection. We talked about this last week, where you could literally just add a crossover 2x4 to your door to keep people out. And it's really, really strong as long as you've built it correctly. Need to get, let's see here. Andy Pearson says, can't enjoy alternative power if you don't have food and water. Correctamundo. Let's see here. Light Raider says, where are we at here? Light Raider says, they are great. Get the nesting cup as well. Yes, actually. Yeah, we're actually giving away a Grail, with the large Grail, with the nesting cup as well. It's an unbelievable product. I have a series of videos that I have to make now that Prep Stock is right around the corner. Guys, if you don't have your Prep Stock tickets, you should definitely be getting them. Prepstock.net, Nebo, North Carolina, October 12th through the 13th. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a real thing, guys. And you're going to start seeing all the product unboxing and reviews for the things that we're going to be giving away, trying to entice you to come to Prep Stock. At this point, I think we pretty much can rule out the whole we don't even know if we're going to have a country by October. And I think that's not really an issue to think about. All right, so let's see here. We're going to go ahead and turn that off right there. Lighting, solar-powered lights. Install solar-powered outdoor lighting to illuminate your property at night, deterring potential intruders. Motion sensors. Use motion sensors, lights to alert you of any movement around your home. And then we can move into alarm systems. Battery-operated alarms. Install battery-operated alarm systems that do not rely on the electrical grid. Consider alarms that would make loud noises to scare off intruders. Also, manual alarms. Have manual alarm systems such as a whistle or air horns to alert neighbors and deter threats. Safe room. We talked about this last week. Designated safe area. Create a secure, reinforced room within your home where you and your family can retreat in case of an immediate threat. Stock it with essential supplies. Neighborhood security. This is where it starts to get crazy, because after the EMP happens, everything we talked up to this point is like, this is just kind of keeping people away. Everything's fine, hunky-dory. Boom, EMP goes off, the lights go out. People are confused. Nothing to see here, guys. Everybody relax. We got this under control. We know you don't. And then you need to start yourself a community watch program. You need to organize patrols. You need to establish a neighborhood watch program where community members take turns patrolling the area and monitoring for suspicious activity. At that point, once that EMP happened, guys, it's going to turn very tribal very quickly. Probably within 3 days of stupidity inside of a week to craziness. So the community must come together very rapidly, very rapidly. All right, let's see here. Communication networks. Set up a reliable communication network using walkie-talkies or ham radios to coordinate efforts and report incidents. Guys, do you think the police's radios hardware is EMP protected? Nope. You think they're going to be like, oh yeah, Roger, we'll be right over? Nope. They're going to probably just go home because they don't have anything to protect. They can't walk your entire town. There's not enough of them. In fact, they may be looking to deputize people. But think about that if they don't have a communications network. All right. So, and then the one that people freak out a little bit about is shared resources. It's called resource pooling. Sharing security resources such as tools and expertise. Those tools, we know what that means, and the expertise should come along with it. Among neighbors to strengthen overall security measures. Basically, hey, Johnny, I need to show you how this thing works and how to use it. Mutual aid agreements. Develop mutual aid agreements where neighbors agree to assist each other in emergencies. Being a good neighbor is just exactly that. Let's see here. Number 7, perimeter security, community fencing. Erect fences or barriers around the entire neighborhood to control access points and create a secure perimeter. Would this work? Yes. Would we be able to find enough fence to do an entire community? Probably not, but it's still a damn good idea. Checkpoints. Set up checkpoints at entry and exit points to monitor who enters and leaves the neighborhood. 100%. This is all going to come down to people power, guys. It'll all come down to people power, because if you're going to play lone wolf, you're going to be a dead wolf. It's that easy. Training and drills, self-defense training, organize self-defense classes for community members to learn basic skills to protect themselves. Emergency drills, conduct regular emergency drills to ensure everyone knows how to respond in case of an attack or intrusion. Now we're starting to talk about, like, hey, we've got our community set up. We're now waiting for the world to get better, but it's not. So we're pooling our resources and using lots of manpower. And, we need to be able to react if something goes wrong. All right, let's see here. Security equipment. Non-lethal weapons. Equip community members with non-lethal self-defense tools such as pepper spray, stun guns, or batons. Now, with that said, you got to talk about lethal defense. For those legally permitted, whatever, consider having firearms and training in their proper and safe use for home defense. But we're kind of beyond that at this point. I was doing some research yesterday, and you can actually buy rubber pellet shotgun rounds. 20 or 21 pellets. They're about the size of double-aught. No, they're smaller than double-aught. But one of them travels at 750 feet per second. The other travels at 500 feet per second. You can buy them in boxes of 12 to 20, but you need to remember that you can still take an eye out. You can still damage their body. You're just not going to be like 100% lethal. Okay. So it's something. Some of them are actually designed for bare defense, if that gives you a hint of the power level of that these things actually happen. But you can buy them for your 12 gauge. And I think that they're a great complement to not only home security, but securing your neighborhood. Some guy just acts stupid and you just don't want, there's no reason to put him down. Maybe the first round is a non-lethal round, or a less lethal round, as they're called now. Something to think about. All right, number 10, and it's kind of important because once you get things set up, you can't have the loose lips sinking ships, and that's information security, OPSEC, operational security. Educate community members on the importance of keeping security plans and resources confidential to prevent outsiders from gaining critical information. Also, believe it or not, cybersecurity. Protect any electronic devices that are still operating by using encryption and secure communication methods to prevent information breaches. There are some radios out there that will actually garble. They will scramble your transmission. It's not encryption, but it will scramble your transmission. I'm in the process of getting a radio sent to me that actually has the ability to do that. And so hopefully we'll be able to see that in action. By implementing these steps, you can significantly enhance the security of your home and neighborhood, creating a safer and more resilient community in the aftermath of an EMP event. Going to the chat. What do we got here? Let's see. Step that pepper spray up to bear spray. Love it. How much? Dollars for 20. I want to say that, I honestly don't remember. I remember reading it was $17 and something cents for 12 of these rounds. So maybe that'll give you an idea. Just Google less lethal shotgun rounds, and you'll get plenty. No, Amazon doesn't sell them. I looked. Let's see here. What do we got here? Bradley Collins says, "Don't let them kid you. Those rubber pellets will leave a mark." Oh yeah, they're not a joke. These are not, like I said, one of them, the bear pellets were, like I said, were 750 feet per second. Okay. To give you an idea, a 5.56 round travels anywhere from 2,000 to 2,300 feet per second. But the a bear pellet, this ball, 21 of these balls flying at you, depending on your range, and they're only good for like 30 feet. But even then, I think you could probably get a little bit more range out of them. That's what was on the wrapper. That was what was on the box. But 21 pellets moving at you at 750 feet per second. That's significant. And then the other one was the less lethal round. It was 20 pellets moving at 500 feet per second. So, if you're using one, the intention is just to stop the person. You don't want to kill the person. You know what I'm saying? But, that second round, or maybe that third round, shotguns can fire pretty quick if you know what you're doing. Might be the choice that you make. You give them a couple of those pellet rounds, they might decide they don't want to play anymore. Okay, let's see here. I just stick to rock salted head. Yeah, but that means you have to do it yourself. I think you can buy rock salt. Or rock salt rounds. I'm not sure. Rock salt and birdshot mix. I think you're missing the idea behind less lethal. Because if it's an EMP situation and you start putting holes in their body, they're going to die. Or if you decide to take care of them, now you have to treat them. So the less holes you put in their skin is probably for the best. Let's see here. Let's see. Juju Jester. Jester made a video assembling the fire pit for prep stock giveaway. I love it. I'll be watching that later on today. West Virginia Pappy says we lose police, fire, etc. Even NOAA, correct? Police need EMP shield. Andy, some police officers police vehicles actually are equipped with EMP shield. There's one in both of my vehicles. It's just smart. It's just smart. Even if you drive your car till you run out of gas, you still had that capability in the beginning. Let's see here. West Virginia Pappy. Can you trust who is watching while you sleep? Make sure. Yeah, there you go. Where are we at? Light Raider. Let's see here. I have scars on my ass from rock salt. You sound like you're in trouble, Light Raider. There you go. All right, so let's go. And what do we got? So our poll, as we whittle this down. Oh, Light Raider, what did you do to get salted? That's hilarious. As our poll whittles down, and I will leave the poll up just to see what happens, just to see what I honestly think that it dies with the live stream, but I'm gonna leave it up anyway. Let's see here. What is your top priority when preparing for an EMP? 48% says alternative energy sources. 24% says food and water. 19% says home and neighborhood security. And 10% says medical supplies and first aid. So in the very beginning of this live stream, I told you I was really disappointed to see the answers that I was seeing. I'm still a little disappointed. The LP is going to tell you guys, listen, water, food security. Okay. So what's the top one? Food and water storage. Okay. And then what's the bottom one? Home and neighborhood security. The answer is in the question. If you are thinking about alternative energy sources, then you are not truly talking about survival. You're talking about keeping your cell phone charged up. You might be thinking about charging ham radio batteries. I'm not sure, but someone said in the chat earlier that we lived for thousands of years. without electricity. So hopefully this video ending, seeing those poll results and speaking the way that I am will help you to understand that your priorities should be exactly that. I have plans. I have stuffs. Let's see, where's it at here? I'm gonna mess this all up. I do this. I have stuffs. I have solar panels. I plan on having the ability to charge and run things, but that is not my main priority. If those things go bye-bye, that's not going to stop me from eating. It's not going to stop me from drinking. It's not going to stop me from protecting me, my own, and my stuff. My own, me, my own, me, my own, me, and I guess my family and my stuff. So please think about your priorities. All right, let's see here. I think that's going to be about it. Let's see. We've gone at 50 minutes. That's pretty good. Guys, as usual, if you like what I'm doing, hopefully I'll have this camera situation squared away by tomorrow. But do me a favor, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on the way out the door. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I try to be here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And passing out good gouge. I think that's going to be about it. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye. I'm gonna start pushing buttons now.